Hey there, everyone. This is Trader Tim from eminimind.com doing a trade recap for Monday, October 28th, 2019. And we have just completed our close of an all-time high here in the ES. And that is significant because if we don't get that kind of a situation, if we go into new highs and then retreat, that's really showing that there's not enough buying interests to sustain the short-term sellers, if you will. When a market makes a new high, if you think of the market made up of long-term investors, short-term traders, and kind of everything in between, when we retreat from a new high, or when we bounce off of a bigger low after a big sell-off, that's typically the longer term sellers being overtaken, if you will, by the shorter term traders. And volume today not huge. You probably notice I don't look at volume a ton, but on the daily chart it can be helpful. Same with going over to the SPY. The last really this last little run up here has all been relatively on the moderate to low side, but even though we had a little bit of a retreat at the close, we did close at a new high. And if I were to go down to a 30-minute, you can see that after the gap up this morning, we really just stayed within that first 30-minute bar and closed, back inside of it. So not the most bullish day, but it is a good sign to get us up into open space because we've got a big week with the FOMC meeting announcement on Wednesday, and something's telling me that's going to be kind of a wild week here. We've got not just FOMC Wednesday, but we've got GDP in the morning. Tomorrow, we've got consumer confidence and pending home sales, as well as the home price index. What else do we have? Thursday, jobless claims, and then Friday, employment situation. So a whole lot of numbers for the media to take and run with, in addition to the FOMC meeting announcement. So uh, tomorrow's trading room is going to be moved to Thursday because typically, and that's something I'd like to do for all these Fed meeting announcement weeks, just because typically Tuesday before a Fed day is a little bit lackluster, just like the morning of. Although this week I have a feeling it might be a little different, but I'll put that link here below the video to the trading session on Thursday of this week. So as we look at the ES on the daily chart here, you can see all these kind of purplish blue lines here. Those are all of the unfilled gaps that remain on the way up. And this is our prior all-time high, 2950 in the ES. And then this is the uptrend line from these lows. So kind of a lot happening on my chart. But this week, we have the potential to really skyrocket up to the 3060. And I guess you wouldn't really call it skyrocketing. It's not that far above, but that would complete our negative 23% target from down here that traded back in May, end of May. If we trade up to a 3060 area, and with no resistance to the left or above us, we have a strong potential to be able to do that. And at the same time, if things misestimates, so to speak, or if some of the economic news announcement aren't as exciting as people want and hint maybe a slowdown, then if we start to fall and sell off, then we could easily not just drop and fill a couple of these gaps, but come all the way back down to this up trend line, something like even we'll just call it 2900. So we've got a lot of room to run, which means intraday, if we can get into some trades, it's a great opportunity to be able to trail your stop and kind of catch some big runners. So we'll see what the week brings. Regardless, I'm not going to trade Wednesday morning just because I never trade the Fed meeting mornings. But Thursday and Friday should be very, very good. In terms of today's trade, I had one trade, and I was initially looking at possibly getting into a long on the gap up, but nothing really set up here in the first uh, 20 minutes or so. And then when we made this double top, I sort of shifted gears into thinking potential short there, but breaking the swing low was my sort of trigger point. If we draw up the halfway back long from the morning, we did not make that full pullback. So as we made the first pullback here that broke the prior swing low, that was right in the first 15 minutes. And then I saw the double top. I wanted this swing low to break before taking a short. And since it did not, I didn't end up having a trade there. And then I used this area, if I draw a little rectangle, this area as sort of a no trade zone just because we were kind of bouncing from highs to lows in this area and then really went sideways. But things kind of picked up as soon as we broke into new highs. We made that new high, 42.75, and then sold off, broke the swing low, broke back into the first 30-minute range. That's this line up here, and traded at the 50% short that lined up right at that 30-minute range. And that was a really nice, clean short, 30, 40 and a quarter. Traded right down to its negative 23% target. Got a little bit of a bounce, sold off, tightened the stop above the swing high. A little bit of a bounce, sold off, bring the stop down above the next swing high, bounce, sold off, bring it down again, and then that's where I was taken out on this, it was like a 30, 37 right over here. So decent, little move for a day where there wasn't a whole lot going on. And whenever we are above the 30-minute range, I'm looking for us to, if we come back into it, go to the bottom. And we didn't quite make it there today. Or if we're below the first 30-minute range, I'm looking for us to, if we come back into the range, to move to the top. So just trailing my stop on the way down in this case to, as long as I can. So decent little short, but that was really it for me. And tomorrow, it could be interesting. Might be kind of that curveball day before Fed meeting, but typically it's sort of a flat day because people are waiting for the announcement before kind of getting position heavy one way or another. So we'll see what Wednesday brings, and then Thursday morning, link below the video here to the trading session, and be able to ask questions and walk through the morning with me in my trades. And if you have questions outside of that, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I'm happy to reply and answer anything you have. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to everyone on Thursday.